Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Omni viewer, and pardon me if I sound a little bit off. I am currently struggling against a head cold at the moment. I just wanted to say one last thing about this alleged King Ghidorah leak. A sufficient amount of time has passed by now, and there hasn't been any new word on the subject. But the thing is, I think this is exposing a real issue within the kaiju community. An issue regarding journalistic integrity. Let me explain to you my process of how I handled this particular image and whether or not it is what so many people still seem to think it is. I went about it in the way any proper investigation should go. I gathered the evidence, I examined and interpreted the evidence, and then I drew a conclusion. So to go into a little more detail, the evidence we have is the image itself, the behavior of people in the video, the seeming resemblance this creature has to King Ghidorah, and two specific denials from people involved. One from ADI Studios, and one from director Michael Dougherty. Oh, and let us not forget that the video was removed. Now how do we interpret that evidence? Admittedly, the resemblance, as far as we can tell, is unusual. Then again, since we can only make out so much detail, it's hard to really say. The behavior of people within the video and the subsequent removal of the video is widely open to interpretation. It could indeed indicate that this is King Ghidorah and they have a reason to hide it. On the other hand, though, we just don't know. Only the people directly involved in this video would know what's going on. Michael Dougherty was directly asked, "Is this King Ghidorah?" Very clear yes or no question. He said no. ADI claims that this is from an older project called Lucifer, and that it is an early design of the dragon which would have appeared in that film. Now on the one hand, the claim that it is an early design would certainly explain why it doesn't resemble the final creature. On the other hand, Lucifer was from a while back, so why it would be present on a video in 2018 is a bit unusual. Based on all of this evidence, the only conclusion I can draw is that I cannot draw a conclusion. If this were a trial and we only had this much evidence to go on, the only fair result would be a hung jury. There's just not enough to go on one way or the other. What we have does lean ever so slightly towards the idea that it's not King Ghidorah, but there are still some anomalies that prevent me from saying definitively that it's not. Even if there is a connection, we don't know if it's the final design. And of course, since we've had a little time pass by this point, there's something else we have to consider. Yes, the original video from which this came was taken down. But none of the videos covering this supposed leak have been taken down. My videos are still up, D-Man's videos are still up, ETN's videos are still up, everybody's videos are still up. Usually when a leak happens, regardless of what it is, the studio always makes sure that every possible outlet pulls it down as soon as possible. There are many examples of such leaks happening in the past which I can point to. The fact that all of these videos are still up actually does provide slightly more evidence towards the idea that it's not King Ghidorah. But again, not enough to completely tip the scales in that direction. However, this brings me to the issue of the community at large here. From where I'm standing, it seems to me that a lot of people, particularly the people who claim that this definitely is King Ghidorah, have done this process backwards. They concluded it was King Ghidorah first, and now they're interpreting the evidence to fit that conclusion. It is King Ghidorah, therefore the resemblance is not a coincidence. It is King Ghidorah, therefore the behavior of everyone involved in this video is suspicious. It is King Ghidorah, therefore Studio ADI and Michael Dougherty are lying to us. This is not how an investigation works. Now, for the sake of maintaining my own journalistic integrity, I will state that this is only how it appears to me. If you're among the people who adamantly believes that this is King Ghidorah and the evidence really does support it, you are more than welcome to explain your process in the comments section. But I still maintain that currently the only conclusion we can draw is that there is no conclusion to draw yet. You see, the one thing that's getting me in this whole process is that there's one question no one has been able to answer yet. Why would they lie about it? Let's assume for a moment that this really is King Ghidorah. Why lie? After all, we're going to find out relatively soon anyway. If you're going to say the government is covering up the existence of UFOs, you can at least claim that's a secret which can be kept indefinitely. This is something regarding a movie. That movie has a release date which isn't too far off, and there's going to be plenty of promotional material beforehand anyway. So if this is King Ghidorah, what reason would they have to say it's not? What on earth would they stand to gain from setting themselves up as liars like that? Hey guys, remember a few months ago when that image leaked and we all said it wasn't King Ghidorah? Well gee, turns out it was, and we were all trying to pull the wool over your eyes. I sure hope that hasn't destroyed all of our goodwill. Like I said, there have been plenty of major studio leaks over the years. Studios have taken many different actions to try and plug those leaks, but lying has not been one of them, historically speaking. Sure, there's a first time for everything, but as already stated, there's not enough evidence one way or another to prove that this is that first time. It really does seem like the people who are insisting this is King Ghidorah have gotten it backwards. Now, if more evidence surfaces one way or the other, a reassessment of this particular image will be warranted. If this does turn out to be King Ghidorah's design after all when we get the trailers or see the final movie, then we will have to raise some questions as to why they lied about it. For now, though, the best we can say is, I don't know. That's all we can say. And that's all I have to say until we get more evidence one way or the other. So I guess that's as good a line as any to end the video on. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer signing off.